What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Now, if you haven't seen that film, it is a Johnny Depp film. He was very young, and I absolutely love it. It's Johnny Depp, Leonardo DiCaprio. You have to watch it. What's Eating Gilbert Grape. It's an excellent film. They were both so young, especially Leonardo was just a kid. And I still absolutely love that film. And of course, there was the 21 Jump Street on TV. Other than that, you know how Johnny Depp is really known for the Chocolate Factory and the Pirates, and I mean, he's done so many films. I think that's the only thing I know him from, honestly. So many of you guys are going to say, oh my God, what kind of fan are you? You're not really yes, I am. I've always been a fan of Johnny Depp, but I just haven't seen any of his movies out there, like the Pirates and all these other movies. They're not my genre. That's not something that I would watch. Even a couple of people have said to me now, well, maybe it's something you should watch now. And I'm thinking, I really don't want to see a bunch of pirates jumping around and swinging and all that stuff. I get my fill of that when I go to Vegas and I see that pirate show, and I'm just like, I don't get pirates. But anyways, so originally I obviously was on Johnny Depp's side, obviously, because I have always admired his work in What's Eating Gilbert Grape and 21 Jump Street. I admired, I had a crush on him, of course, like all the other girls, and still do. Just think he's a very handsome man. But having said that, I did, like I said, I was erring on his side, and I have watched the trial daily as much as I can. I've been off of my other job for about a month, because I just finished having my cataract and glaucoma surgery in both eyes, which I mentioned in the prior video, which I'm going to make another video about. But they don't do both eyes at one time. They only do one eye at a time. And since I had 2 surgeries in one eye, I actually needed to take some time off of work. So I haven't been to work in like a month. And I just haven't been able to do nothing but just heal and get better. And so that gave me an opportunity to watch Johnny Depp and the trial. When Amber Heard has been telling her stories about Johnny Depp and him being inebriated and his patterns of being when he is just messed up and how he is, that I have lived through. I have actually had a relationship with someone for 4 years that was exactly like Johnny Depp, without the violence, without hitting, punching walls or anything like that. So I understand that that's a huge part of what's happened here. I personally did not experience that part. What I have experienced is, being with someone who is an alcoholic, who is a drug user, who disappears, and whose personality changes, and I've just seen it with my own eyes where they have just self-hatred. I don't know what to call it, self-hatred, or you're just destroying yourself. You don't know when to stop. You don't stop. You don't stop. It's a real disease when you're drinking and doing drugs, and it's so hard to admit that you have a problem and to get help. So every time Amber Heard was talking about a situation that's happened to her, someone being late to a function, you don't know how they're going to come, how they're going to show up, have they been, drinking or taking drugs, or are they okay? It hit my heart. It hit my core, because I have been there, and I understand when she says, well, she doesn't say it, but I understand why she didn't leave. I get it. I really do. And plus with the fact that, you know, they met like in 2011, right? This is a long time ago. She was a lot younger. I am not coming up with defenses for Amber Heard. So before you start coming at me, let me tell you something. Amber Heard has as much responsibility for what's happened to her than Johnny Depp has. I believe that people, like, let's just say if Johnny Depp is a wife beater, if he is an R person, if he is all of these people, this is my belief. There are other people in the world that are like him, right? There's other women and men that also abuse alcohol. They also do drugs, and they abuse those that are around them. And many are actually killed. It's hard when you hear her talk about not the abuse, but the force, you know, like when she's talking about him punching her with all those rings, okay? Where the disconnect comes with me is I think that if a man is punching or really going at it with his rings onto a woman's face, I just feel like the damage on her face would be a lot greater. But she did take pictures. Do I believe that Amber Heard is embellishing, exaggerating? Maybe there is a part of that in there. Yes. Do I believe that Johnny Depp did these things to Amber Heard? I do. Yes. And that does hurt me because I do love Johnny Depp. But I also realize that he is a human being, just like all of us. We all have our faults, right? And even though he never did this or showed this to apparently, some say he did, some say he didn't. Some say he did talk about the abuse that he abused Winona Ryder, Kate Moss, and his baby mama, Vanessa. But others say no. A lot of people have testified they've never seen Amber with any bruises or any, cuts or looking like she's been actually mishandled. But I don't believe that she would make all of this up. Actually, I think it's kind of impossible for her to make all this up with all these details, okay? And all of these other witnesses coming forward, makeup people, all these other people saying, yes, I did see bruises. Yes, I did see, her crying all the time every time I went to do her makeup. Yes, I have seen Johnny Depp jealous with Vanessa, Kate, and his other relationships. Someone did testify to that. And so, look, they're both at fault. Why is Amber Heard at fault when she is the victim, right? It is your choice. Whether you're a man or a woman, it is your choice now, okay, to walk away. It's your choice whether you stay or whether you walk away. Having said that, I do get where you get stuck in that place when you're, like you say, like say you have children, say you don't have any money, you have nowhere to go, you've been isolated by this man, he's kept you from your friends and your family, and you literally have nowhere to go. That's a different situation, right? Because not only did Amber have money to get out of the situation if she needed to earlier, right? A support system that actually lived with her. Johnny Depp was so generous that he let all of her friends live in penthouses for free. A lot of this began prior to them getting married. If you really listen, he already started, according to Amber's allegations, hitting her, beating her up, being inebriated, just, not having any kind of responsibility, going in that cycle. You do it, you say, I'm sorry. You do it, you say, I'll never do it again. You do it and you say, let's hire the $100,000 per month kipper to get me clean. That's how much they paid him, $100,000 a month. He was so young. And that's the part that I get. I get that when you're really young, like in your 20s, I get it, because I was there. I was in the worst relationships, you guys. I was just sharing one with you, but I've been with other relationships. But this is like the worst thing to know, that you're with a person who's an addict and they are just, this is a classic addict. They have no way of helping themselves. And they've tried to get help for a long time and they can't seem to get help, and yet they still abuse you. I get it. When you're young, you don't have any funds, you don't have any support. That wasn't the case for her. She's always been blessed with tons of money, lots of support, and she also has had a lot of trauma happen to her in her life as well. They both have. You have two very dysfunctional, broken people coming together. Very dysfunctional. That's what you're seeing in Amber Heard. You're seeing how a lot of her issues that she has growing up with her in her childhood, they haven't been worked out. She hasn't worked on anything, because the more you work on your issues, the less likely you are to get into a situation like this. The more you work on your issues, the more rapid you recognize the red flags. And if you've worked on your issues, when you recognize a red flag, which there were many prior to the wedding, okay, prior to their wedding, you say no. Johnny and Amber have zero communication tools. Okay, they cannot agree, let's just go and get a pizza, because they're not even hearing each other. When you have such high emotions, when you have the diagnosis that the doctor testified on Amber Heard, being bipolar, and then she was something else, a couple other things, right, that she was testified as being a couple other things. Was it bipolar and then having a personality disorder, something like that? I'm not quite sure with my facts. I'm sure you'll let me know down below. You got that, right? And then Amber, to me, maybe not to you, but to me, okay, we're just talking about Amber, and then we'll talk about Johnny, and then we'll talk about both of them, okay? But Amber, she drinks, she smokes weed, she snorts cocaine. She loves MNDA, I don't know how to say it, ecstasy. She loves, and mushrooms, right? Mushrooms, ecstasy, and, weed and drinking and whatever else, okay? That's what has been proven, and she is admitted to many times, doing these drugs. And if you think for 1 minute that these people are just smoking some weed, which is nothing wrong with smoking weed, okay? If that's what you think they're doing, like taking a hit and that's it, you're mistaken. Amber is combining, she has combined a lot of these things. Okay, we're gonna get to Johnny in a minute, right? So, can you imagine having some mental illness, not resolving any of your core initiations from childhood, seeing your life through that lens still, the lens of how you grew up and how you were treated, because those have not been resolved, they haven't been worked out. That takes years and years and years of going through some counseling and working on yourself to get resolved. It just doesn't disappear in one day. Like Trisha Paytas gets pregnant and all of a sudden she doesn't hear voices anymore. All of a sudden, you know, she's not gay. You see where I'm going with this? It's not something that you just click off and say, I am no longer bipolar. I am no longer this. I no longer hear voices. It doesn't work that way. Either you heard them or you didn't. Either Trisha Paytas was making all that up or she wasn't. Okay? But now, okay, I don't know how I got into Trisha Paytas. I want to talk about Johnny. Oh, my Johnny Depp is a mess, you guys. He's a mess. He's just a mess. That's how I think of him. Now, I just explained Amber Heard's state of being, right? Where she could be when issues come up that need to be resolved with common sense, communication tools, knowing when it's okay to let the other person walk away because they need to get away before they lose it, before the situation gets worse. See, she doesn't know about that. She tries to keep them there. And to keep him, because to her, him leaving is abandonment. Can you believe that? And he's trying to keep the situation from escalating, and then you have someone, Trisha Paytas did it as well, who blocks the door, who thinks you're abandoning them at a time where in the middle of an argument, when things are getting heated and punches have flown and bottles have been thrown and glasses broken all over the place. Right? All of that has happened. Johnny wants to leave, and here's this Amber Heard going, no, don't go. Stay here with me. Yeah, let's continue. She doesn't know any better, or she didn't know any better back then. That video of him in the morning drinking that big thing of wine, I'm just like, and what really got to me is a testimony that I heard today. And the testimony was that someone said that they had a conversation with him, and that Johnny Depp had said, I don't like being sober. It's too painful to be, to not be high or drunk. It's too painful. I can't really be me when I'm sober. I don't like it. That's not me. Broke my heart. That broke my heart. Because when you idolize someone like a movie star, you have this thing in your head that they're all this and that, and you never, think that they're human beings and they have their own issues, and if you do, you never think that they're this bad, especially for someone like Johnny Depp, right? But apparently, Johnny Depp has some serious issues. Now, whether these serious issues have developed and have gotten worse since he's been with Amber, and they weren't really actually all there prior to being in a relationship with Amber, and they didn't come to a head with the other relationships. Yeah, I can believe that. People change, you guys. Just because someone wasn't doing something 10 years ago doesn't mean that they're not going to be doing it now. Okay? People change. And unfortunately, very, very sadly, Johnny Depp is not happy. He's not happy being alive. He's not happy in life. Money has brought him no happiness. I believe his only reason for being alive is his children. Because I can tell when he talks about Lily Rose and Jack, I can tell how much he cares and he loves them. And I know that he does. And that seems to be his only joy, core joy. Because even when he's doing his love, his passion, which, by the way, this is going to turn out to be a long video. I didn't know I had so much to say. And see, I didn't write anything down, okay? So, anyways, his music. Girl, blown away when I started listening to Vampires of Hollywood. Ooh, he is sexy. He's got a beautiful voice. Can he sing? I mean, I never even knew that. I mean, it's actually, yeah, I never even knew he had a band. I just shared with you, I know hardly anything about Johnny Depp. Only what I know of him is what he did when he first started out. That's what I know. But yeah, I saw a couple of videos of him with his band, playing with his band, and I was just like, whoa, look at this. And you wonder, why didn't that ever, you know, pan out to more? And maybe he didn't want more. Maybe he just wanted to just keep it low, just rehearse and go around and tour and play and just keep it on the down low and not get too mainstream. You know, once you get mainstream, they control your music anyways. And so he was just, you know, trying to, you know, his band is just him. But you know, when he's out there playing the guitar, he's being up front and he's singing and he's beautiful and his voice is beautiful, he's high. We just had testimony today from a former band member from way back in the day, you know, that way back then, you know, it said that he saw Johnny Depp, Marilyn Manson, you know, snorting coke, you know, doing other drugs, you know, drinking. It's not something that just started. It goes back a long, long ways, okay? I was watching one of these trials, and I noticed at the end when it was over that Amber has an assistant there with her in the courtroom, right? And when it was over, I noticed how she didn't nicely, because everybody was standing up and all of her attorneys were having conversations with each other, and Amber stood up and Amber immediately noticed, this was kind of at the beginning of the trial, this trial, she immediately noticed an opportunity to socialize, to shake hands, to say hello, and the first thing that she did when everybody stood up was look for her assistant, who, by the way, no one was speaking to. Her assistant was just standing there. As soon as the courtroom session was over, her assistant came from where she was sitting and came and just stood right in front of Amber, like, you know, she was there to assist her. And Amber had, you know, like a tumbler of water or maybe a water bottle or something that she drinks, and she just went like that. She just went like that. In other words, she didn't make eye contact with her assistant. She didn't smile. She didn't go, can you hold this for a second? She just went like that. Just like that. Not even look at her. Her assistant took the bottle and immediately Amber Heard goes, you know, she goes to her attorneys. She starts shaking hands. She's looking around, you know. When I saw that, hold on one second. Because I kind of saw it with Johnny too, not to the extent that I've seen it with her, okay? Now, these days, now towards the end when we're watching the courtroom at the end, she gets up and she has an exit that she just leaves and goes towards the back and she leaves. Why? Because it was where she had to exit to the right and walk. Like Johnny Depp walks this way and she walks that way, and they had to actually like pass each other. So now, because I think she was walking this way too, right? So they were actually going to go this way together. So now she goes this way and she just exits over towards the left, I think. And he exits towards the right, right? So Johnny Depp as well, I noticed that he seems to be a bit more private. He doesn't really make eye contact. Oh, that's another thing. Johnny Depp doesn't make eye contact with anyone other than his attorneys, and he seems to be more quiet with his head down. But, there's a little but, I did notice one of these court sessions was over and he stood up and he kind of puffed up a little bit. I noticed he kind of puffed up and he looked around, you know, and he was like, thank you, you know. But I noticed there's a little bit of that part in both Johnny and Amber that is, how can I explain it to you? Almost like, it's almost like it's a performance. almost like a performance, like you're in a play. You know, it's like, okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna do this job. It's like a job, you know, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play this role, and I'm gonna play this role, you know, and we're gonna, you know, drag this out because their careers are so bad right now that any publicity is good publicity. I understand that $50 million, which is what Johnny Depp is suing Amber Heard for, I understand that that's not, to them, that's not a lot of money, you guys. It's a lot to us. To us, it's a lot, okay? But when you make like $665 million for a film, you know, when you're used to making that kind of money, and Johnny Depp has been spending that change. He's been spending that coin. So much so that he's needed intervention from financial analysts to try to get his financials in order. Just to show that when one thing in your life isn't going well, usually you can look at the other parts of your life and they won't be going well too. It's like a domino effect. That doesn't surprise me. They had asked him to sell his Parisian villa, whatever you call it, and he didn't want to. So he did sell his yacht. Was it his yacht to J.K. Rowling? He sold his yacht because he was just overspending, right? So if you can imagine these two people coming together, having all of this drama prior to getting married, you guys. Now, they got married, big disaster at the wedding. The honeymoon, big disaster. It's been, I mean, big disaster. Not like a little fight, big disaster, right? Fingers chopped up, you know, cigarettes being put out on cheeks, you know. I mean, I can't go into these allegations. They're just so messy and so bad. So, what do to end this conversation of my opinion of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, it's going to play out like it's going to play out. And we're going to watch it play out, and whoever wins, no one's really going to win. Nobody's going to win. It's just very sad that it comes to this. Part of me says Johnny Depp is doing this because he does need money. He does. So I guess maybe 50 million is a lot to him. I know that, you know, like his expenses per month are something that just blows my mind. It just blows. His expenses are huge. I think it's like $10,000 a month for one bodyguard. You know, it's crazy. Tell me what you think down below. What do you think of this case? Do you agree that at some point in your life you need to know when to walk away at the first sentence? The first sentence that someone says to you, that's a big red flag. Let me tell you what this man told me that I was with for 4 years. That was an alcoholic, a drug addict, and put me through a lot of misery. No, he never hit me, but he did put me through a lot of misery. Disappearing, taking my ATM, letting my little bird flow outside, almost burning my apartment. We can go on and go on the misery that I went through. My mom and I going to the bank saying, you know, someone stole money out of my account, and they were watching the video, you know, and there he is. And me not saying anything because I don't want to get him in trouble. I've been through it, you guys. That's why I can relate to her when she talks. I can say, you know what? It may have not been to that extent that she's saying. She might be embellishing and exaggerating, but I can tell that something did happen, and that you know, her part of her testimony, or most, I think, is true. I hope that their careers, what they want to do, you know, in life, comes to fruition. I wish Johnny Depp the best. I never want to hear anything bad that happened to him, ever. and I'd love to hear your thoughts below. So I'm going to continue to watch the trial. Let me know if you want to hear more of my commentary, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.